The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And tonight we'll be joined in studio by head field hockey coach Kelly Kingsbury, along with junior Ainsley Stoll and senior Kate Kuberick. So stay tuned after the break, where I'll be joined by my first guest tonight, junior Ainsley Stoll.
You ever think about buying a bigger place?
Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy.
There is no credit fairy.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
Welcome back to Inside Red Dragon Sports. Joining me now is junior Ainsley Stoll of the field hockey program. Welcome, Ainsley.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
All right, I was born in Buffalo, New York, and I was raised in Williamsville, New York, which is about 20 minutes outside of Buffalo. I went to Williamsville North High School, played field hockey there, and came to Oneonta.
And you're majoring in?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice, very interesting major. What made you decide on criminal justice?
Well, I was originally here for dietetics and switched my major my freshman year, first semester, and criminal justice just had so many opportunities. So.
What are you hoping to be able to do with that? I mean, I know you have another year, but do you see something, past graduation that you're hoping to get into with that?
I have a lot of different things. I was thinking FBI, CIA, Secret Service, military, police, lots of things.
We actually, speaking of the FBI and this, that kind of, we actually have alums, and actually we've inducted a couple into our Hall of Fame that have worked for the FBI, so we certainly have a long line of some people that have actually gone on to do that, so we certainly hope that works out for you. What kind of classes do you take within the criminal justice?
There's a lot of core classes like criminology. It's a subcategory of sociology, so there's a lot of sociology classes. And a lot of crazy electives like corrections, the sexual offender, Islamic faith and society. So.
Okay, so it seems like it's pretty broad,
yeah.
Broad varying. Let's talk a little field hockey. This is your third year with the program. The first 2 years you've been an all-conference and an all-region player for us here. You've had a pretty good run up until this point, and this year you're leading our team in goals. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience thus far, in your little 2+ seasons with Oneonta?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. I'm glad I chose this school. I'm glad we have a steady coach, and the coaching staff's just really supportive. So.
What kinds of, you said steady coach. I mean, we know we had a couple of different coaches during your tenure here. What about Coach Kingsbury excites you about being a part of the program?
The fact that she was an All-American once, that's one of my goals personally, so it's easy to relate to, and she knows so much about field hockey. So
her knowledge, and you're hoping, I mean, the whole forensic and all that kind of stuff, I mean, if that doesn't work out, do you think you could find yourself maybe coaching field hockey someday? Or?
Maybe, yeah. My high school coach offered me the job when she graduates, so maybe I'll do it.
So maybe you'll be going back home.
Yeah.
What other kinds of things about the field hockey team? Right now we're on kind of a little roll. We've won 3 in a row and 4 out of our last 5, and then put ourselves in 3rd place in the SUNY. We had a big win over New Paltz this past weekend. What kind of, how do you think the team is doing now, and then from where we started at the beginning of the season?
I think we're doing a lot better. The first few games we played really well as a team, and we were just working all together. Our passes were on, and then we were just kind of off for a little bit, but now we're back on track. So.
What do you think got you back on track? I mean, is it just a matter of keep working hard together as a team? And
yeah, I think we've had a lot of team talks about like putting your effort into practice, because how you practice is how you play. So a lot of that too.
we had obviously we also played a very tough schedule this year. I mean, Coach Kingsbury didn't take any light games this year. But I think if we're trying to build a program, which I know she is, a successful program, those are the teams we really need to play. So what was it like playing, like William Smith, who's one of the top teams in our region? What's it like to play those schools and compete with them?
It's a little intimidating going in knowing that they're not necessarily better, but they have a reputation, so they're building off the reputation. But if we play as a team, we have basically every team.
Right.
So.
Now, within your team, you do a lot of team building kind of, activities. What kinds of things do you do?
We just have a lot of team talks, and we try to hang out with each other as much as possible to build like the chemistry and stuff. So.
We have some new players this year. Who in that freshman class of recruits, because of course that was Coach Kingsbury's really first recruiting class, what players do you think might show promise down the road?
Definitely Ashley Johnson and Meg. I think they're both very, they both know the game well, and I think once they develop, they'll be really well.
Now, so they're contributing as freshman, first-year players, which I know, as yourself, you led our team in scoring your first 2 seasons here, and people kind of look to you, and we're going to have Kate Kubarek on as well tonight, talk to her a little bit about leadership and that kind of stuff. Do you feel pressured to really need to score all the time or do those kinds of things? I mean, is there pressure there for you? Or?
Not that much. I just enjoy playing so much, so scoring comes with playing, so as long as I play my hardest all the time.
Now, you take our pretty much our hits on the penalty corners or whatever, because you have such a great shot, and a lot of times when we're watching them, some of them just go right by the post or whatever. So that's kind of a leadership role for the team. What kinds of things do you try to transfer on the field? Are you a rah-rah kind of leader, or do you try to lead by example?
I'm not really a talkative person on the field, but I do try to lead by example. So.
And are there other players on the team that kind of feed off that, especially some of the younger players? I mean, do they ever, maybe come to you for any kind of like academic advice, or I mean, are there, do they kind of rely on you that way?
They'll ask me like what professors to take and certain programs and what's easiest, what's hardest. So. Yeah.
And you're willing to, give them that information for, for your own, because you've obviously experienced it for 3 years. Great. What kinds of things? What attracted you initially to Oneonta?
I was actually playing in the Empire State Games, and I was recruited there. And I came on my recruiting trip, and I met all the girls, and the school just fit, and the school was beautiful. So. What kinds of things would you say for a prospective student athlete that may be looking at Oneonta? I mean, is it all academics? I mean, what in athletics has been a highlight for you besides the field hockey stuff? I mean, have there been things that you've done, in the department that might, attract a student athlete to come here? Yeah, like the facilities are really nice. The AstroTurf is a big plus. There's just a lot of stuff to do here. Like there's never a dull moment. And I know that a lot of times when students are looking at schools now, one of the things they do is what else is there on campus for us to do? Are you involved in any other activities on campus that you might be able to highlight? Yeah, I'm involved in Open-Minded Unity. It's a club on campus. So. And what kinds of things do you? It's just a club building off diversity. I'm involved in the LEAD program, and that's also with diversity. So. And the LEAD program, you think? What kinds of things do you think you're going to be able to take from there as you move into your, potentially criminal justice? Well, diversity is a big part of the field of criminal justice, so that's why I was involved initially in it. So you would certainly tell if, I mean, we have on-campus visits and you're excited about the program. I mean, you certainly would be someone that would be able to sell the program in the college. So. Yeah. Well, we certainly want to take you thank you for taking time to come by and see us tonight. Thank you. And we wish you good luck as we get into the last kind of third of our season. And you have one more year to go, so we're definitely going to have you back next year to talk about your final season. All right, thank you. Well, thank you very much for coming by. I'd like to thank Ainsley for joining us this evening. Stay tuned after the break, where I'll be joined by senior Kate Kubarek.
Hate those screaming commercials on your radio? Well, so did we. That's why we created Oneonta Community Radio, WUOW. You can leave regular radio behind. Just tune to 104.7 WOW, bringing you arts, information, and entertainment from the State University at Oneonta.
Welcome back. Joining me now in studio is senior Kate Kuberick of the field hockey team.
Hi.
Good evening. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Kate?
Well, I'm from upstate New York, a little town called Warrensburg. I went to Warrensburg Junior Senior High School. I played field hockey and softball there, and I came to Oneonta 4 years ago.
And you're majoring in?
Communication studies.
Communication studies, so
Yeah.
then you probably someday want my job.
Probably. Look out.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, you're definitely a lot better looking than I am. Tell us you're in your fourth year now. You've been with our team, and the program has changed and grown over the last 4 years. What about Oneonta when you were being recruited really attracted you to Oneonta?
Well, it's funny because Oneonta was the only school I was looking at in New York, and on a fluke, my dad and I decided to come out for a visit, and it just fit, and it was like I belonged here. I could just feel it.
And I tell you, the other student athletes that we've had on the show say the same thing. I mean, you know, Ainsley was on prior to this, and she said the same thing. I mean, it just kind of fit. The campus, you know, the way it just looks and the way it's kept.
Yeah.
Did that, now the coach at that time you recruited?
Michelle Dombrowski, yeah.
Yes, who went on to, she's now down at the University of the
Yep.
South, or SUNY. What kinds of things did she talk about when she was recruiting you to come to the campus?
I don't really remember. I just remember I sent her, I had come to Nike field hockey camps at Oneonta, so I knew her from like a couple years previously, and I sent her a recruiting videotape, and she called me 1 week just to check up and see how my decision-making process was going, and I told her, oh, you didn't know I decided to go to Oneonta, and she was like, oh, that's great. So it just kind of happened, and everything fell into place. It helped that I knew they were graduating 9 seniors, so I knew I'd get a better opportunity for playing time, and the AstroTurf kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah. Well, we certainly know that from the time you stepped on the field for us, you've been an impact-type player. Your freshman year, sophomore year, you led our team in scoring and all-conference and all-region type player. How your 4-year career now, you're kind of closing in on the last third. What kind of an experience has it been for you as a field hockey player?
It's been nothing short of like a great experience. I've had so much fun. The teams I've had over the 4 years, I've had so many memories that I'll never forget, and I couldn't ask for a better experience in field hockey. I've been to a lot of places, played in a lot of great games, and I have nothing bad to say about it.
Anything else within the athletic department that you know, you could maybe highlight, you know, the things besides the facilities? I mean, some of the programs, you're involved in captain's leadership. I mean, maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, captain's leadership meets, I think, one Tuesday a month, and it's the captains of all the teams, and we get together and talk about strategies and approaches that could make us better leaders and that could make us better captains for our coaches and our teams. So it's a good experience, it's a great learning opportunity, and so far, so good.
Now, have you been able to take some of the strategies that you've learned back to the field hockey team?
Well, we've only met twice, and our last meeting was about conquering conflicts, and luckily this year we haven't had any conflicts, so I can say I haven't needed to use any of those strategies yet. Now,
some of that practical experience, you know, certainly you can put it on your resume as you move towards whatever career you decide to get into. How do you think some of that practical application may apply?
Well, I'd have to say being a student athlete for 4 years has taught me how to manage my time properly, and I think I have an advantage over other people who haven't had to balance or juggle, you know, 2 commitments. I think I can take a stressful situation and relieve it slightly easier than other people who haven't had such a hectic schedule.
With the leadership style, Ainsley said she kind of just goes out and plays the game and hopes that other people will follow her lead. What kind of a leader do you look at yourself as?
I'd like to think I lead by example, but I do find myself being very verbal during games and trying to, you know, cheer up the team if we're down. You know, just encourage the girls to keep working harder, stay strong, focused, calm, cool, and collective.
Which is important.
Yes,
field hockey can be quite a crazy game at times. What, you're one of 2 seniors on our team this year. Is there extra pressure, you know, to perform all the time? I mean, do you need to score a goal all the time?
I'd say surprisingly this year, I've told my parents that I feel no pressure this year. I mean, in the past I felt like sophomore year I felt a little pressure because I had such a great freshman year. But this year I'm just looking to play my game and have fun. And so far I've yet to be disappointed. I'm just really happy to be here and be playing still.
And contributing in a positive way.
Yeah.
What other kinds of things on campus would you highlight as a 4-year, you know, student here? I mean, you know, you still have another semester left, but.
Well, I definitely, we do a lot of community service within the athletic department, and that's been a great experience. Usually we do a lot more, it seems like we do a lot more in the fall, but it's probably just because I'm busy. But that's been a great experience. We have an opportunity every, I think it's every January, all the female sports teams get together and we do a Girl Scout like sporting day, and they go around and they learn, you know, soccer from the soccer team and field hockey from our team, and it's cute because some of them have no idea how to play, but then you can tell by the end of the session they just fell in love. Right.
Now, what other highlight? Last year, free community service, you did something with the Pox Hospital, is that what? Oh yeah, last year our team, we decided to, everybody got a stuffed animal and we got to dress up our stuffed animal and we donated it to the children's center at Fox Hospital, and it was really cute. The community service, how important is that for the student athletes to be involved in? I think it's very important because obviously we're a huge part of the community on campus, but Oneonta is kind of a small area, and we do make a good name for ourselves and on the field and off the field, and I think community service backs it up off the field. Again, probably some more practical kind of learning as you go along to appreciate what we may have and how we're role models in the community. Yeah. So. And you don't realize that until you get involved with the younger kids in the community. One thing that you would say about Oneonta for your kind of 3+ years right to now? I love it. I love it. Well, that's we're glad you love it, because you certainly have had a great career, and you got a few more games left, and we certainly hope that you. Gonna miss it. Yeah. Well, we'll miss you at next year. So, thank you again for coming by. Thank you. And good luck the rest of the way. I'd like to thank Kate Kuberic for coming by this evening. After the break, we'll be joined by head field hockey coach Kelly Kingsbury.
I ordered the soup.
This is the soup, miss.
This is a bowl of rocks.
All of our items are made from rocks. Delicious government rocks.
Welcome back to Inside Red Dragon Sports. Tonight, my final guest this evening is head field hockey coach Kelly Kingsbury. Welcome, Kelly.
Great to be here.
Certainly no stranger to Oneonta. You kind of played field hockey over on the other side of the, other side of the hill, I guess. Yep. All-American field hockey player. Great career there. Could you talk a little bit about what kind of experience that was for you and what it meant to play at that level?
Sure. I actually looked a lot at some Division I schools, some Division II schools, and then a few Division III schools. I remember vividly attending a Hartwick-Cortland game. I think it was my junior year of high school. I was watching my sister play. My sister played for Cortland, and I showed up on the campus, and I just loved the scenery from up on the hill there, and I just remember saying to my mom, I can picture myself coming here. So it was, once I got looking away from home, Oneonta was a good distance from home. It's like an hour and 15 minutes from my hometown. So it was a good distance away to be able to get home and go back to school if I needed to. And I just fell in love with the campus. And Anna Meyer was definitely a huge part of my decision to go to Hartwick. And I think I was probably an easy sell for her because I was just like, yeah, I'm coming. And she's like, great. So,
as we hope when you're out recruiting, kids are saying the same thing, because Kate and Ainsley both said as soon as they got to campus, they were coming. Yeah. So we certainly hope that that's holding
Yeah, I
true
think
for
the
you as
actual
well.
town of Oneonta itself, I mean, from whatever hill you're on, I think it's just a really pretty town, especially in the, like this time of year in the fall. I think the sceneries are just great, and except when we get snow in October, but a lot of people like that. But
well, they're calling for possibly some snow before we finish our field hockey season, so
Never
we hope
fails.
we hope that doesn't happen. You said you grew up hometown. You said an hour and 15 minutes away.
Yep, my hometown is Sherburne, New York, over near Norwich. We're still about an hour from Binghamton. My mom was actually my high school coach. She's been coaching there for, oh geez, probably like 28 years now. So I basically grew up with a feel like stick in my hand. Always wanted to be a goalie when I was little. I think it's just because I liked the equipment, playing with the equipment, and they zipped me in the goalie bag all the time. And then I think once I got older, I realized that I really liked when I could score on the goalie side. Yeah. So that became my favorite part. And so I would always hit on the goalies when I was 6 years old, when I was big enough to swing a stick. So.
Wow. Your mother, field hockey coach herself, big influence on you being a coach yourself now?
Yeah, I think I have a lot more respect for her now at the high school level. I tell her every day, I said, I don't know how you do it, because I just, it's just a different mentality. The college level is definitely my level of coaching. I don't mind breaking down the basics, but I can't tolerate some of the drama that comes in the high school stuff. So very happy to be at the college level, and I tell her every day that she's better at it than I am, because some of the stuff that she has to deal with is way different. But.
Now, Division III I mean, you were a Division III student athlete, so you think that kind of sliding right into a Division III head coaching job, that was, that's probably where you probably would find the most satisfaction?
Yeah, definitely. I think, after playing at a competitive Division III school and moving into the coaching at a competitive Division III school, it was just kind of an easy flow for me. I think I enjoy the Division III level more so because you can have a life with it. You don't have to eat, sleep, breathe field hockey, like you do at the Division I level. And I think, on a personal, family side too, it's nice for me because I don't have to make them eat, sleep, and live field hockey. So I think it's a good, balance between field hockey life and academics.
And when you talk about your family life, you're the mother of triplets.
Yes.
And I'm sure that in itself is like playing field hockey sometimes.
Yes, sometimes, yep. 6-month-old triplets is definitely a second job.
Yes, and certainly a great addition. Maybe just talk a little bit about what it's like to be a mother and being able to maybe bring them to practice.
Oh yeah, the kids can't wait. Every time they come to a game, they're like, oh, I can't wait till they're running around chasing balls and everything, And we got actually a little wagon this year for the balls, and they're like, oh, we're going to carry them around, we're going to drag them around and that. So I think the kids are looking more forward to it than I am to being able to bring them to practice, just because I think they'll be fun. But yeah, they're 6-month-old now, and definitely a challenge, but it's awesome. Loving every minute of it.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 boys who are older, but I don't have to go through all of that kind of stuff, but it's still its own challenges. You played for arguably probably one of the most respected coaches, even at, not only at Division III level, but even around the country, Anna Meyer. What kind of influence has she had, and do you call her a lot, that kind of stuff? I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
I think aside from myself getting the job at Oneonta State, Anna Meyer is probably the second happiest that I got the job at Oneonta State. I think it's a huge plus to have 2 respected field hockey teams, basically neighbors. And I think, in the future and, as well as the last 2 years, we've worked really well together with, scouting, stuff like that. And luckily we don't necessarily have the same recruiting, areas really. As a private school, she's in a different, area of recruiting as I am at a state school. But a phenomenal coach to play for. I couldn't have asked for a better 4-year career. Definitely one of the people that pushed me into the coaching, after coaching under her for 2 years. Definitely wanted to do it, as a head coach. That she definitely was a big influence on my decision.
What kind of, because of course, she was your coach, now your colleagues. I mean, what kind of life lessons did she try to pass on, when you were a student athlete?
Yeah, Anna's huge into life lessons. Basically, live life to its fullest. Always tell your family you love them. Definitely a life person, not necessarily a field hockey coach, but more like just a life mentor. She's got a great outlook on life. Just a very inspirational person.
Now you're on the other side of the ledger, so to speak, and what kinds of things do you try to impart into our program? This is your second full season. You've had your first kind of recruiting cycle. You brought in some freshmen this year that we hope will continue to grow and be part of our successful program as we get better. What kinds of things do you try to stress when you're talking with your student athletes?
I think the draw, once I can get them on campus, I think it's like, I mean, every athlete said when they've come on here, it's just, it fits everybody. You know, if you can get the kid on campus, get them overnight with the team. My team's great. They basically can sell the program in like 5 minutes, you know, and they just, I mean, they're just fun to be with. You know, you don't have a bad time when you come hang out with them. And I think that helps a lot. We had a big overnight a couple weekends ago. We had 5 of our, you know, top recruits come, and I think 2 out of the 5 basically at the end of the overnight were like, oh, we love it here, we're applying, you know, we're coming, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the main ticket, is to get them here into Oneonta. And I think the rest sells itself. Obviously, that beautiful AstroTurf field is a huge plus. There's not that many left in Division III especially, which is a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
But we love it, and we're getting a lot of teams that are emailing us saying, hey, can we get on your schedule? And I say, hey, what do you play on? You know, so but they want to come here and play, so it's just a matter of, you know, playing on their surface or whatever the next year. So. And
your team is involved in a lot of community service activities. How important is that with your programming?
Very important. I think it's just a great you know, life lesson, building, you know, your personality and interacting with, you know, lesser challenged, you know, people that have challenges in life. You know, Kate talked about how we did the animals last year, which was really fun. We delivered them, and Fox was distributing them, you know, to new brothers and sisters, sick children, you know, kids that went in the ER, just kind of a cheer up. And they did a great job decorating them. It was really funny. Some of them, you know, they put little onesies on them and decorated, said Oneonta Field Hockey, and, you know, smile and things like that. They had a great time doing it, and I think it was a lot of fun.
Switching gears a little bit, let's talk about this year's team. We're kind of on a little roll. We've run 3 in a row, 4 of our last 5. We're kind of hitting the last third of our season. We've come a long way since the beginning of the season with some of the younger players. Maybe you could highlight some of the younger players, the freshmen, sophomores, that you think will be. Absolutely.
I think our sophomore class is pretty small right now. We only have 2, Andrea and Jackie, and both of them have really. Jackie started quite a bit last year, but both of them have really come into their own this year, and sort of pushing the upperclassmen into that to push themselves. You know, freshman class is a great freshman class. We've got 2 that are starting. Caitlin Bushnell is a phenomenal defender for us. Will have a stellar, outstanding career here. Could potentially be a SUNY Rookie of the Year, I think, definitely. And Ashley Johnson, who starts center mid, which is a tough position to start in, and she's done a great job for us. Both of them have done very well in their starting positions. And as far as the other ones, Meg and that whole crew, they're improving every day at practice and pushing everybody.
So as we look to continue to build our program, these freshmen and, you know, sophomores and even our juniors being able to sell our program, and the fact that, you know, we are building to be a competitive program. And how do you know, in the SUNY right now we're 2-1. We had a big win over New Paltz, which was great. What you know, as we go forward, you know, what kinds of things do we see? I mean, SUNY is tough. I mean, you know, you got Cortland at the top, who hasn't lost a game, but you know, where do you see us eventually? I mean, we want to get to the.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, beating the Cortlands and the Skidmores is going to get us to the NCAA tournament and having an outstanding season. So those are the teams we're looking to play. We had a pretty tough schedule in the beginning, which is what I want. And I think the middle were challenging games, but they were games that it was more level. I think there were times when I don't think we play anybody on our schedule that's better than us. I think we could potentially beat anybody on our schedule. It's just a matter of putting everything together. We haven't quite played 70 minutes of field hockey yet, so we're working on that. We've played a good 35, so we're working on putting a good 70 minutes together, and I think unstoppable once we figure that out.
Now you know, we do say that you know, our early schedule was, I mean, we played, you know, William Smith and Skidmore, and but I think as you build a program, you know, even talking with some of the other coaches, you don't want to shy away from those teams. You,
No.
you want to play those teams because it only makes you better.
Right.
And I think that could be another selling point, when you say, hey, to recruit, we're playing William Smith, and these are the teams that we're going to be able to play. I mean, do you see that when you're talking to recruits?
Yeah, and it's hard too because we don't have an automatic bid for the NCAA tournament. So basically, you have to have a perfect season to do anything in the postseason besides ECACs, which is the goal behind NCAA's. So it's challenging in that, even if you have a mediocre season, there's no second chance to get that NCAA bid. And SUNY's working on that. Hopefully next season we'll have the tournament, and then the following season we'll have the AQ, which will, even you get yourself into the tournament and then you still have a shot. So that'll be good.
Right. We needed to bring ourselves to a 7th team, which we accepted SUNY Morrisville as our 7th to
So they just have a couple years to get set, basically. So.
Right. And who is competitive?
Yep.
Morrisville. I think a lot of
Definitely.
people thought because they were a 2-year school and making that jump, which SUNY IT tried to do for many years, and they found that it might not be, the SUNY Act might not be the place for them. But
right.
Morrisville seems to fit in pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I think I know with some of the other sports they struggle, but field hockey, she's done a really good job there, and I think the first couple times when I was coaching at Hardwick, we played them. I think she had probably like 11 players, and now I think she's got 18 or 19. So she's building a roster, which is half the battle. So. Right.
Anything if a prospective student athlete is watching this tonight, what one thing would you say, to get them here, or what would you say about the college and the field hockey program?
I would always just say, come for an overnight, and the rest will sell itself. Just a beautiful facility, athletics and academics. And I think the town of Oneonta is a great college town altogether.
Right, with the 2 schools, Hardwick and Oneonta, who
Yep.
work well together.
Yeah.
There is a fierce rivalry.
For the most part.
Yeah, there is a rivalry.
I get some slack once in a while from my kids. But.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Well, I certainly would like to thank you for coming by and joining us tonight. And we certainly hope you finish your last third of the season with all wins and come out with a winning record this year. And we'll have you back
Great.
next year.
Thanks, Geoff.
All right, well, thanks for coming by.
Thanks.
We'd like to thank all our guests tonight, Ainsley Stoll, Kay Kuberick, and Kelly Kingsbury of the field hockey program. Upcoming games this weekend, we only have one home event this week on Saturday, October 17th. Our women's soccer program will be in action against nationally ranked William Smith. That is Saturday, October 17th at 1 o'clock at Red Dragon Soccer Field. As always, we encourage you to check our 24-hour sports hotline and our website for all the news and going-ons within our department. Thanks for joining me this week, and we'll see you next Monday evening.